Have you ever wondered why, even with so many positive thoughts, your reality remains the same? Why? Even though you desire something intensely, affirm it every day, and imagine the best possible scenario, nothing concrete happens. Perhaps the answer lies where almost no one looks, not in what you think, but in what you vibrate. It's easy to believe that thinking about something is enough, that the universe will reward someone just because they visualized something great or repeated affirmations in front of the mirror. But the universe is not reacting to the image created in the mind. It is reacting to the silent energy that radiates from your being. Imagine a person saying, "I want prosperity," with their lips, but feeling in their chest the weight of doubt, fear, guilt for having failed in the past. The real vibration is not that of prosperity. It is that of insecurity. And it is this frequency that the universe understands as a signal. The universe does not respond to declared intention. It responds to the energetic identity maintained with consistency. And this is where the forgotten key lies. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are prepared to sustain. Your body speaks. Your breath communicates. Your emotions send signals. Even the way you walk or sit carries vibrational information. And that is what builds the reality around you. Thought is only a fragment. The whole is in your state of being. Many people get stuck on the idea that they need to think differently. But even with new thoughts, they continue to feed the same habits, respond with the same emotions, and make decisions based on the same old patterns. What changes on the surface is not enough to transform what vibrates in the deeper layers. And then comes frustration. Why doesn't anything change if I'm trying so hard? Because it's not about effort. It's about vibrational coherence. When the mind says one thing, the body feels another, and behavior shows a third direction. The universe receives confusing signals. And instead of moving forward, everything remains static, or worse, it moves backward. Manifestation begins when thought, feeling, and action come into vibrational sync. Let's look at this more clearly. If a person wants love but lives closed off, protecting themselves and expecting to be betrayed, what is the real message they are sending out? It's not, "I want to love." It's, "I'm afraid to love." And the universe picks up on what is consistent, not what is verbally stated. It's as if your life were a quantum mirror. It doesn't reflect words. It reflects internal states. And this mirror cannot be fooled. It perfectly reflects everything that you carry in a dominant way. So, the first step is not to imagine what you want to experience. It is to observe who you are now. What do you feel when you think about your dreams? A quiet certainty or suffocating anxiety? What do you believe about yourself when you look in a mirror? Do you feel that you are enough, capable, deserving? Or do you still wait for approval, for signs, for permission from outside? These are crucial questions because they reveal where your vibrational foundation lies. And it is from this foundation that every manifestation is sustained or collapses. There is a huge difference between wanting to be something and living as if you already are. And it's not about pretending. It's about inhabiting the identity of the version you so desire to achieve. Change happens when you stop dreaming about the new and start acting with your feet planted in it. Think about it. How would you behave if you already had the life you dream of? What would your tone of voice be like? Your physical posture? Your level of presence in the simple moments of the day? That version of you, fulfilled, accomplished, connected, already exists in potential. All that's missing is for you to start vibrating like her now. And you don't have to do it perfectly. It's not about becoming someone else overnight. It's about slowly deactivating the old pattern while consistently reinforcing the energy of something new. It's a process of vibrational replacement, and it starts with the details. The way you get up in the morning, the rhythm of your breathing, the words you repeat to yourself, the way you treat yourself when you make a mistake. All of this shapes your energy field, and that field becomes the language that the universe understands with absolute clarity. As long as you continue to treat yourself as someone who is trying, the universe will continue to give you situations of trying. But when you start moving like someone who already is, even if only subtly, reality begins to reorganize itself. This reorganization, however, does not come because you forced it. It comes because you emitted a new code. And the code is not in what you say. It is in the frequency of your existence. If your mind still believes that you need to convince the universe that you deserve more, understand this. The universe does not need convincing. It just needs a clear signal. And that signal is you living with integrity between what you feel, what you think, and what you express. You don't need to imagine your future 10 times a day. You need to transform your present into the place where this new life is already beginning to happen. Real manifestation is the result of a coherent vibration, not a continuous effort to control the invisible. And now that you know this, there is a new choice on the table. Continue operating through the mind, or start vibrating for the truth. This truth does not come from outside. It comes from a quiet place within you that already knows, that already carries the frequency, that already understands that life does not respond to what is asked, but to what already is. From here on, everything changes, because when you align your internal state with the reality you want to live, manifestation is no longer a distant goal. It becomes a natural expression of who you already are. You don't need to ask permission to be who you are. You just need to remember that you always have been. You already understand that your reality does not change based on random thoughts, but rather on your vibrational state. Now comes the question that separates those who only understand this truth from those who live it. How do you change this vibration in practice? The answer is not found in ready-made formulas. It lies in small conscious decisions that, when repeated with presence, shape a new energy field around you. Real transformation begins when you stop seeking the external and start adjusting the internal, like a conductor tuning instruments before a concert begins. Because it's no use just thinking differently. You have to act in a way that is consistent with the new version of yourself. This means closely observing your behaviors, your reactions, your language, and beginning to replace old expressions with attitudes that correspond to the reality you want to live. And this process begins with a fundamental change, the way you treat yourself. If you want to be respected, start by respecting yourself. If you want abundance, see if you're vibrating scarcity in your small choices. If you seek love, notice if you have been your own safe place. Every attitude is a sign, and the universe responds precisely to that emission. So if you want to align yourself with a new frequency, the first step is to embody the feeling of the reality you desire, not as a performance, but as vibration training. Here's how it can happen. Imagine that you already have the life you want. The question now is not, how did this happen to me? But rather, how do I behave in this new scenario? How do I see things? What decisions do I make? What is the tone of my voice? What do I no longer accept as normal? This imagination is not fantasy. It is neurological and energetic training. This is how you educate your system to abandon the old pattern and build a new identity. And this identity is not imposed from the outside in. It is built from the inside out in small, repeated acts with intention. To make this clearer, below are 5 fundamental pillars that support the construction of a new frequency. 1. Energetic language. Notice the words you use in your daily life. They are windows into your vibration. When you say that's hard, I don't know if I can, or life is complicated, you're sending out codes of limitation. Change begins by replacing these phrases with expansive statements. This is adjusting. I am learning. I trust the process. These new words are not mental tricks. They are tools for vibrational alignment. 2. Emotion embodied. Emotion is the most powerful force in the energy field. There is no point in thinking positively if your body is tense and your heart is racing. Your inner feelings shape your actual frequency. So practice feeling the emotion of the life you want in the present moment. If you want peace, find it now. If you want success, feel it today. This emotional anticipation is what creates the soil for the new to flourish. 3. Conscious movement. Your body speaks before your mouth. The way you stand, walk, sit, express yourself, all of this sends messages to the universe. Adopt postures that reflect the identity you want to build. Walk like someone who is confident. Breathe like someone who has found their center. When aligned, the body reinforces vibration more powerfully than any verbal affirmation. 4. Aligned choices. Every daily choice is an opportunity to reinforce or weaken your new vibration. From what you watch to how you react to a comment, everything contributes to the frequency you sustain. Choose consciously. Ask yourself, is this attitude aligned with who I am becoming? If the answer is no, you already know what you need to adjust. 5. Intentional silence. Not everything needs to be verbalized. Sometimes the most powerful vibration is the one that arises in silence. The practice of being with yourself in silence, feeling, observing without trying to solve anything, just witnessing, is one of the greatest exercises in vibrational expansion. It is in this space that the new field stabilizes. When these 5 pillars are applied consistently, the vibrational field begins to change. And along with it, your perception of reality also changes. You begin to notice synchronicities. Different people come closer. Unexpected opportunities arise. And what once seemed impossible begins to seem natural. This doesn't happen by magic. It happens because the universe is resonating with your new frequency. And here is one of the greatest truths about manifestation. Reality is always a reflection of the dominant field. It's not about what you say you want. It's about what you're ready to live. And that readiness does not depend on the world. It depends on your inner vibration. When you decide to be before you have, to feel before you see, to act before you receive, you signal to the universe that you are no longer waiting. You are ready. That is the moment when everything starts to move. Not because you forced it, but because you entered into vibrational coherence. But for this state to be maintained, one final ingredient is necessary: conscious acceptance. Acceptance does not mean conformity. It means recognizing that the present moment is sufficient to initiate any change. The present is the only point where vibration can be transformed. And when you accept the present, you stop fighting against what is. And in doing so, you become an open space for the new. Stop for a moment and reflect. What am I vibrating while I say I want to change? Are my feelings in tune with my desires? Do my habits support the energy of the new reality I want to experience? These questions are portals. Each sincere answer is an opportunity for realignment. And if you realize that you still carry noise, that's okay. The process does not require perfection. It only requires presence and a willingness to adjust what is necessary as many times as necessary. Because in the end, manifesting is not an isolated act. It is a way of life. It is the natural expression of those who have decided to stop reacting and start creating. You are becoming the creator of your own experience. And this transformation is silent, subtle, but absolutely powerful. What comes next does not depend on what the world has to offer. It depends only on the clarity of your signal. You have walked this far understanding what many still ignore. You have realized that thinking is the first step, but it is not enough. You have felt that wishing alone does not create. You have learned that vibration shapes the world. That coherence between mind, emotion, and behavior activates the field, and that it is your inner state, not your stated intentions, that defines what comes to you. But there is one last movement that wisely concludes this process of manifestation: surrender. Letting go is perhaps the most powerful and most misunderstood gesture on the entire path of transformation. Many confuse surrender with passivity, with giving up, with weakness. But those who have traveled this path to the end know. Only those who have total confidence in the invisible can let go. Because surrender, in this context, is much more than not caring about the outcome. It is the conscious choice to no longer carry the weight of control. While you insist on knowing exactly how, when, and in what way everything will happen, you're still vibrating with fear. You're still operating in the field of doubt. And the universe, in its perfection, reflects this hesitation precisely by delivering uncertainty. That is why surrender is not an emotion. It is a frequency of absolute trust. It is the point where you say, without words, but with your energy, I have done my part, and now I open myself to receive in the highest way. This changes everything. But how do you access this place? How do you let go without losing yourself? How do you trust without seeing? The answer lies in a new internal positioning. Below are 6 vibrational foundations that support the real state of surrender. 1. Detachment from time. You cannot control when something will happen. And, ironically, it is when you stop counting the days that everything starts to flow. This does not mean that you abandon your plans. It means that you stop measuring life with anxiety. Time ceases to be an enemy. It becomes an invisible ally. 2. Letting go of the how. The path by which something arrives is never the responsibility of the rational mind. The how belongs to the realm of infinite possibilities. And trying to force a script is like trying to push a door that needs to be pulled. When you let go of the how, the universe finds shortcuts your logic could never imagine. 3. Presence as a foundation. Surrendering is living in the now, is stopping putting off peace until everything is resolved. When you find serenity in the present, even with unresolved issues, you send out the strongest signal there is: I trust. And trust opens doors that effort cannot. 4. Choose lightness. When everything seems to be at a standstill, the tendency is to intensify our efforts. But that is the moment to do the opposite. Take a deep breath, relax, allow. The energy of let it be is creative. The energy of I have to push is limiting. Lightness is not the absence of action. It is the absence of tension. 5. Awareness of self-worth. You don't let go when you still believe you need to prove yourself. You let go when you understand that you don't need to earn value. Just express it. True surrender comes from the certainty that you're already complete, even while everything is still adjusting. 6. Faith as a vibrational practice. Faith is not waiting for something to fall from the sky. It is sustaining a vibration even when the external does not cooperate. It is persisting in the frequency even without evidence. It is acting like someone who knows, not like someone who doubts. This is real faith, maintaining the vibration even in the dark. And when this state is cultivated, something begins to happen. You feel a tranquility that does not depend on answers. You live life with more presence. You connect to the flow of creation naturally, and reality silently begins to respond. Because now you're no longer asking, you're being. Manifestation does not come as a prize. It springs forth as a consequence. The universe does not reward you. It merely reflects what you have become. And at that point, there's no longer any urgency, no expectations. There is only the quiet certainty that what is yours is already on its way, because you vibrate as if you have already received it. This state is the pinnacle of the process. It is when the being dissolves into vibration, when there is no longer any separation between what one desires and what one experiences. When the present becomes the only place necessary. And the most beautiful thing of all, this can be accessed now. You don't have to finish anything. You don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to solve all your problems. You just need to breathe with presence and choose to trust. Trust is a muscle. It grows with use. Start small. Choose to trust the next step, even without knowing the destination. Choose to trust the silence, even without an answer. Choose to trust what you feel, even if there is no logic. And over time, that muscle gets stronger. Surrender becomes a state. Peace becomes a foundation. Manifestation becomes a reflex. Now stop for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and feel. You've already done a lot. You've moved energy, realigned your vibration, changed your habits, reviewed your beliefs. Now perhaps it's time to stop pushing and just let it come. This is the point where the miracle happens. Not because you sought more, but because you got out of the way. You stopped resisting. You stopped doubting. You stopped insisting on the form. Manifestation is not built with pressure. It is born from alignment with the flow of life. And the flow is not passive. It is powerful. It knows the way. It knows the shortcuts. It acts when you trust. If you've come this far, you're not just hearing words. You're accessing a frequency. And that frequency is already changing your field. You may not see it yet, but something inside already feels it, already recognizes it, already opens up. And if this has touched you, there is something that can consolidate this new vibration. Express it. Declare to yourself, I don't control. I trust. I don't force. I allow. I don't wait. I vibrate. These phrases are not magic. They are codes. They activate deep layers of your system. And your system is the instrument through which the universe responds. Manifestation begins with a desire, but it comes down to one decision. Trust. You now know. You now feel. You can now stop running. Not because you gave up, but because you arrived.